Hello, Christian here. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And I know I say this at every episode, but you guys gonna love today's special guest. I met her a few now years ago at Clubhouse, if you guys remember Clubhouse. And every time she went on, first of all, she put people in their place. There was no bullshit, there was no lying, there was no ego, but she's amazingly good what she does. She cuts through and hits right where it hurts. She's amazingly good in not just marketing, she's a business coach. She is extensively good in creating a personal brand. And you guys gonna meet her right after this. And we are back again. My name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show, and I'm really excited for you guys to meet my special guest. Her name is Phyllis, the Brandmother Williams. She is not just a nurturing brand babies. She is a brand leader. She helps founders grow and scale. And I know we all need more of that. She's amazingly good what she does because she works out of authenticity and she is full of integrity. Her background is she's a certified coach. She has an extensive experience in personal branding and all of that. She's an amazing human being, and you guys will fall in love with our brand mother, Miss Phyllis. Miss Phyllis,
Well,
welcome
thank
to
you,
the show.
Christian. I feel like I should bow. Thank you.
So, truth be told, we never met in person, but we met on Clubhouse, and every time we went on Clubhouse, we happened to find ourselves in the same room.
Yes.
And I took so many notes every time she spoke. It wasn't just for me that you brought great content. I think the way you bring it to the audience is there is that sense of, I call it nurturing, because when you get beat up by her, you don't even know. It was the nicest way ever getting a bitch slapping. I mean, she is straight on and she is so on top of what's going on in the industry. Not only that, she's one of the most creative people I met, Miss Phyllis. I'm just really excited to learn more about you, and I want our audience to learn more about you. So tell us a little bit, how did the ghetto country brand mother come to be?
Actually, it has its roots in the restaurant industry because I started out as Mrs. Mister. We turned my husband's name into a multi-million-dollar brand, and that's how I got from barbecue to branding. That's the really short version. But it was realizing that, you know what, you can turn your name into something, and it's not just about being an influencer or an endorser. I'm like, I want people to get licensing money. That's where I'm at now. It's like, stop just doing the one and done and all of that kind of stuff. But it's like there's more to the restaurant industry than just bottling your sauce or your rub or your spices. There is a world of money out there for us, and folks don't tell us about it. So I'm all about that life, really.
So where did your interest in marketing and branding come from? And I'm curious, how did you hone that skill? Because I know branding and marketing is a learnable skill, but there's this level of, I think it comes natural for you. I think it's just who you are. And I think it's certainly your zone of genius to doing this. But talk to our audience a little bit. How did you get into this and become who you are today?
Well, when we had the restaurants, I was really behind the scenes. I was the administrative person. I was the marketing person. I was doing all of that stuff. And to better understand how to get Neil's face on TV, on a spokesperson type track or something of that nature, it's like I had to better understand what were they looking for. So
Yeah.
when we started getting approached, we got our first spokesperson approach before we even opened our first restaurant because Neil was always out there. It's like I was always making sure that we were on Twitter, and that's when Twitter was a big thing with mobile businesses and so forth. But it's like, you know, you have to be consistent in that. And now it's not that you have to do it every day, all day. I don't care if you don't do it, but once a week. Show up once a week at 8 o'clock, drop your shit, and then get on. But just be consistent. It's about making sure that people know when you're available. So
Yeah.
it eventually became my thing. It's like I want to understand this better. And I got so into it. It's like I do not want to be in the restaurant business anymore. I'm like, baby, I want to go be married to you, but I don't want to be in business with you. Oh, that was a hard conversation. But then I realized, you know what? Oh shit, I got to go out here and do it for myself. It was easy putting Neil in front of the camera, but now who's going to know about me? I'm not
Mhm.
Mrs. Mister anymore. I'm not important anymore. So I had to, that's when I started getting my certifications. I got my life coaching certification because I thought that's what I was going to do. And then
Yep.
I
Yep.
started
Yep.
getting my business coaching. And then branding hit me and it slapped me in the face. And it was like, you know what? Some shit got to change. And especially looking at how traditional marketing is done. Y'all gonna get mad at me because marketing is usually done by putting the customer first. When it comes to the founder, Sweetie, I believe in being selfish first, then selfless. Finding
Mhm.
out what do you want and then giving people what they want. But if you're not getting what you want, no wonder there's no joy in your shit no more. That's why your food is salty. And no, I'm just kidding. But
I
yeah,
love it.
branding slapped me in the face, and I went down a rabbit hole in understanding strategy and so forth. So that's kind of it.
You are one of the most hardworking individuals I know. Where did that come from? Where did you pick up that, work ethic is not just work ethic, but more than that, working in authenticity, being true to who you are. And it doesn't matter what your background is. If you work hard, you can accomplish what you want to do. And I love that message. And every time I read up on you and kind of stalk you, legally, because that's what Facebook is for, it's my stalking tool. I was like, what the hell's she up to now? Oh my God, she's amazing. And you make me feel bad. And then I don't check you out for a while. And then I come
Not.
back when I need myself a little grandmother. But where did that work ethic? I mean, you're constantly working. You're always out there. I see you everywhere. Then where did that come from?
I would have to say it came from my dad. Both my parents, I tell people, you would think it was reversed. My dad, my father, when I say ghetto country, I was raised hood
Yeah.
adjacent by a country mama. My dad is the ghetto version. But my mom was the hustler type. She was always going to make sure that the household was taken care of. But my
Hmm.
dad, he was the entrepreneurial person. And so I had this like crazy dichotomy of hustle and flow and all of that kind of stuff from the time I was little.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never been one of those. I did not start off with a fast food job. I started out with an office job. And it's just, and then my dad used to tell me and my sister, like, y'all better make some money and get an education because I ain't leaving you shit. So it's like there's a push right there. But it's all about when you find the joy. And like you said, part of what I am, even though I tell people, don't think that I'm not an insecure person because I am. I just don't let that rule my life. I don't let it rule me anymore because that's why it was a struggle for me when I left the
Yeah.
business with my husband. But it's, you know what? I'm transparent because if I'm transparent, then you can't use my shit against me. Yes, I had
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
moments. Yes, I did this thing. Yes, I fucked up. Ah, really? That's the best you got? I already told that story. You didn't get it right. Let me tell it again.
And it's it's so true. So looking at as many companies and individuals you worked with, what do you think, or what do you see some of the common challenges are when you face, branding overall, and how do you overcome these? So maybe somebody who feels that, yeah, they not very want to be with a brand perspective. So what are some of the common challenges you see first off, and then how can our listeners overcome these?
One of the biggest things that I see is a lot of people who are self employed, not entrepreneurial, are giving
Hmm.
advice. It's
Yeah.
like you plan to stay a business of one. So the hustle that you have is to continue to get jobs for yourself. That is a job for you. But when
Mhm.
you're an entrepreneur, you're not trying to have a job. You're trying to lead something. You're trying to impact something. You're trying to grow something. So, but with so many freelancers and solopreneurs out here giving the same terrible ass advice, when even if you do plan to grow, you're listening to someone who is a business of one, who does
Mhm.
not know how to, oh, they're afraid to hire. Bitch,
Yeah.
that's more money for you. Less work for you. So why would you not hire? And it's that's the challenge of getting people out of the mindset, oh, there's a fear behind I'm responsible for someone else. No, you're not. You're
Mhm.
responsible for payroll. The people who get this paycheck is responsible for themselves. But
Mhm.
we get so attached that we forget that this is business. And even with personal branding, oh, I am the brand. I market myself. Bitch, no, that's not how this goes. Because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, this is about exchanging something for money. And if you're putting a price tag on your ass, we know what that's called. Okay? So no, it's not about it's that's not what personal branding is.
Yeah. I and again, for me, I love how how straightforward you are. And I think that's so needed in our industry. And I remember when we had conversation, I listened in when you gave advice and when you gave coaching on Clubhouse. It wasn't, I read about it, and I remember you saying, "Listen, I've been there. I made the same damn mistake as you're about to make. I'm telling you, this is the better way." And I don't see that out there as much. And it's totally different from any traditional kind of consulting. And I want to
Mm-hmm.
know a little bit more about your one on one concept. But for me, I love that about you. And people, they kind of being it, they are attracted to it and drawn by that because it comes, hey, I'm telling you, I made this mistake. I'm here. You listen to my advice because I don't want you to make, because I'm invested in you. I don't want you to make the same mistake.
Yes.
And the way it comes across is so sincere. And, again, I go back, you don't see this in traditional consulting. And that's why I know there's nobody like you. And I think our listeners, and if you haven't done so, you guys need to Google her, see what the stuff she's up to. Because I want more people to get to know you because that's really missing in our industry.
Mm-hmm. I don't like it when people say, "Oh, this is how I do it, so this is how you should do it." I say, "No, this is
Right.
how I did it and I messed up. Let's find out how you can do it better." Because
Hmm.
you are not me, you don't have my lived experiences. So I cannot tell you that what I did is going to work for you. I'm just telling you that shit you're about to do is going to put you on your butt. So let's not do that. Let's find a better way. What are you most comfortable with? Not what they ask for, because most people like, well, my audience, I didn't ask you about your audience. I asked you
Hmm.
what is best for you. What's going to make you feel secure in your position as a founder and as a leader? If you can't lead, then baby, all you're going to do is follow your customers around trying to chase down the money they got in their pocket that they don't want to give you.
Hmm.
Stop.
I remember you always use this line: give them what they ask for, but support them on what they actually need. Talk to
Mm-hmm.
us a little bit more. Where did that philosophy come from? What does it mean, and how can people act on it?
That came from my very first strategy client. Oh my God, that was a shit show. Because what it was, we got along very well. She was a referral, and we started talking, and we got caught up in this whole black girl magic thing. Oh, girl, and this, and oh, having that whole black girl moment. And she liked and appreciated my brand, and she thought that's what she wanted for herself.
Hmm.
She says she wanted to share this 30-year image of being this particular person. I'm not going to name the show and all that kind of stuff, but she wanted to share that 30-year image, and she wanted, because she was coming out with a new book, and she
Hmm.
wanted to base this new brand on this new book. And I'm like, oh, we got this. But then once we were all done, and I'm like, okay, how are we going to start putting this out here? Oh, this is not me. All of a sudden, she got real zen and woo woo like, and bitch, what? I gave her the rawness that she said she wanted, but
Yeah.
it wasn't what she needed. I didn't
Hmm.
pay attention. I didn't pay attention. She told me what she wanted, but I didn't pay attention to what she actually needed. And
Yeah.
so I've learned that lesson over and over, or I always keep that lesson top of mind. It's like, okay, I hear you, but what I see you doing and how I see you acting, sweetie, you can't be like me, and I don't expect you to. I don't expect you to use profanity, because if you start cussing, I'm gonna be disappointed in you. That's my job. Let me cuss for you. Okay? But everything else is like, how do you want to show up to the world? What is going to make you most comfortable? Let you stand 10 toes down where
Hmm.
nobody else can move you, where you know that what you do is the shit. And that's what we want to get to. Don't try to be like me. Don't tell me, oh, I want to be like so and so. You can't be like them, because you don't know how
Hmm.
they have to be when the lights are off and nobody's looking. Stop.
I love that. I love that. And for me, a lot of times when I do things, I hear this in the back of my work. Is it something I want or is it something I need? And it's really amazing life lessons. And to our listeners, this alone is a masterclass on how to do personal branding. So, talk to us a little bit more about, you have this concept called one-on-one service, and
Mm-hmm.
it's totally different from traditional brand consulting. Talk to us a little bit about it and how restaurateurs and chefs can leverage that.
For me, it's a long term agreement between us. I don't make anybody sign a contract or anything like that,
Hmm.
but we are going to work month to month. And because I do that, I tell them, you know what your guarantee is? If you don't like me this month, don't come back next month. That's your guarantee.
Hmm.
But it's understanding that if someone's going to help you build a strategy, a lot of times they'll give you that, whether it's a marketing strategy, a funnel strategy, they'll hand you the book and, oh, it's
Yeah.
great, but you don't know what the hell to do with that. because you're good at being in the kitchen, or you're good at being at the front of house, you're good at back of house stuff, you don't know shit all about funnels. So you
Mhm.
just paid $20,000 for this funnel magic that you don't know how to set up, you don't know who to hire, you don't know how to do all of these things. So I'm gonna sit in this with you, and my thing is, where I'm gonna show you how this works, and then I want you to go hire somebody else to do it, because this is not your job. Your job
Mhm.
is to understand how it's supposed to be done. It's not for you to, sweetie, you're a leader. You're not in the day to day grind, but you have to know how things work in order to be able to pass it on to the person that you hire. And that's what you do while you're leading. Don't hold on to the stuff that I'm telling you. You hold on to it long enough to say, okay, I know how to hire my marketing person now. Sweetie, this is our
Mhm.
brand, this is our voice, this is our tone, this is our magic. I
Yeah.
need you to represent. So,
I I I love that, and you make it so simple because one of the things you always talk about, you don't need to be famous. You need to be noticed by the right clientele. Talk to us
yeah.
a little bit more about that. And you always talk about it's not about you. I think at one point you call it you want to be selectively famous. You want to be just known by
You
your
do.
perfect client. So talk to us a little bit more about that.
It's funny because when Neil was the face of our business, everybody gets, and only reason I ever talk about us being on TV or anything like, because it
Mhm.
excites people. It does not excite me. I hated being on TV. Oh my goodness, I avoided it for I don't know how long. And people are like, oh, I would want to be on. You know what? You can have it, but that does not put money in your pocket. I
Mhm.
learned that from all of the stuff that we did. The more famous you are, usually the more people want to be. Oh, I know the owner. You know, you don't. You don't know. I'm like, I tell people, Phyllis is a petty bitch. Ghetto Country Brandmother is an empathic bitch. You want to know this one over here, because this one, but it's how do you want to go about building this business? If it's
Yeah.
not a form, if it's not going to provide you with some form of self care as a leader, because don't be making up shit that you can't walk that talk.
Mhm.
You're doing all this lip service, but then when it comes time to make it happen, sweetie, no, that's not how you lead. That's not how you lead.
Mhm. I love that because you always add it's not just about that. You need to find a way to monetize around that. Talk to us a
Yes.
little bit how you can monetize in 2024 around a brand.
With if we're talking about the restaurant industry, one of the things
Yeah.
that I realize is that if you're going out, like some people want to be on the celebrity shows like Chopped and all that kind of
Yep.
stuff. You need to recognize that one, you might not make any money because they probably aren't paying any per diem. Then they
Mhm.
get to hold on to your image, your voice, and everything, and use it any which way they want to, and you have no say so about it. But you run out here, oh, but I got exposure. Exposure for what? That was taped in New York, and your shit is over in Wisconsin. Nobody's coming from New York to Wisconsin to see you. So what was the exposure for?
Mhm.
And because even if you got that 15 minutes of fame, you don't know how to turn around and market it for your business. When we did, what was it? The Great Food Truck Race. Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
remember
know.
that.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
hated that. I hated that. And so once it was all over and done, one of the producers came to our place to eat. And she said, why you don't have on the walls that you were on the Great Food Truck Race? I said, because y'all don't do shit for me. I said, first of all, what we cooked on your show is not served in our restaurant. So why would I even put that up there? That the fact that I was seen on TV makes me no. That has nothing to do with the type of service that I provide or the food that I serve. When I
Mhm.
come in here and somebody wants a sample, I'm like, baby, you got to drop it like it's hot. And that's a totally different thing. That's not what I did on your show. So
Mhm.
no, it is not. I don't think we ever put up that as seen on, but people
Yeah.
seem to care.
You talk a lot about that. And for me, it comes from your soul when you talk about this whole idea of branding in business. Where's this coming from? Can you tell us about a personal experience that shaped your view on branding overall and on business? Because your message is not just about branding, because every time you bring something to market, you talk about this is all good, but this is how you need to capitalize it. You don't want to do it for free. You want to do this, to make a living.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? And give us a personal a story maybe or experience. Where did that come from? Where did you hit rock bottom, or where did that come from? Because that's a powerful message you have consistently over and over, and it doesn't change.
Yeah,
And that's what I
it does
love
not
about
change.
it.
Because when we were living in LA, our restaurants were in LA, and the way our business started was we started at farmers markets all around the LA area. We were in the valley, we were on the other side of town, we were all over. And so people were always approaching us to do a taste of. Oh, come do this thing and bring 1,000 samples. and we'll give you great exposure. Oh, come do this thing and set up a booth over here. You'll get great exposure. We were going broke as shit. You making what, $65 a pop at thousands of people running through here, but you want me to serve food for free, and I have to pay for a health permit, and I had to drive. Yeah, kiss my ass with the exposure shit. Don't do that, y'all. Do not. Unless and because the thing is, the place where they're having these events, if you're not in that locale,
Mhm.
nobody's coming to find you. They'll appreciate it because, oh, I paid $65. I'm gonna eat everything here. I don't care if it's good or not.
Mhm.
But you don't give them enough of an impression in that one bite. They are not driving out the bumfuckamunga to come eat your food.
Mhm.
So to sit here and allow people to continue to use you while they make money, oh, that burns me up. That brings out the mama bear in me. Stop using up my babies and then pay them what they're supposed to be paid for the work that they did. They had to bring in extra staff. They had to do all of these things. Probably had to pay for parking. And you want them to do this for free. If
Mhm.
any of my clients tell me they do that, I will fire your ass. You cannot be my client if you're gonna punk out like that. No, I am
Mhm.
not that one.
Yeah, because you always talk about that you bring self-care in with everything you do, and you talk about for them not to get burned out. So
Mhm.
what advice do you give to your client who experience burnout, and how do you keep them not to get there?
The way that my process works and how I set them up is like, first off, there's this what I call the code, their DNA code. This is based
Mhm.
on contemplation of what you want in your life, brand, and business, the objectives that you want to achieve, things that you can be dedicated to, not committed to, but things that you can be dedicated to, and how are we going to do all this shit ethically. Now, if you do all that, that's going to insulate you because that's going to become part of your core message. So when you tell
Mm.
people, oh, when you come up in here, this is how we're going to serve you. When we say you got 15 minutes to eat, we need you to get out of here and mean it. And people will come because they want you to kick them out in 15 minutes. They think that shit is hilarious. But you let them know because this is how I work. Y'all stressing me out. There's too many of y'all in here. Go stand outside.
Yeah, yeah.
And because they know that this is the type of service they're going to get, and you're going to get haters in there anyway, because they're going to come just so they can have something. She was rude to me. Yes, I was. Why did you come? You knew I was going to be rude. I told you I was going to be rude. Why did you step in here? But it's the good and bad and the give and take of it all because you feel good because you stood by your word. I said 15 minutes and damn it, I meant 15 minutes.
Mhm.
But at the same time, when you make a promise, you know what? I don't care if you walk in here at 8:59 and we close at 9. I'm gonna give you the best service possible. Damn it, you better break your neck and do it just like they were the first person that came in that morning. Keep your
Mhm.
promise.
I love that.
And
I love
because
that.
you can go home and feel good about that, sweetie, it's not work. This is your
Mhm.
joy. And you getting paid to bring some joy into your life. Oh, that's the best feeling ever. Come on now.
I love
Christian
that.
thinks I'm crazy.
No, it's so true. And then I'm sitting there in my mind, I was like, this person needs to get to know her. This person needs to hear this because it's so true. Um, and so with as many people you work, what do you see as some common mistakes people make around branding?
The biggest mistake that I found out that everybody makes, I don't care who says it, we put the customer first.
Hmm.
And because customers have that belief now, they walk in with $1 in their hand and they think you're supposed to bow down to their dollar. Treat
Yeah.
me like the queen I am because if you don't, I'm gonna bitch take your money and go. And we're afraid to say that because we think we have to be nice to everyone. Sweetie, I can be respectful to everyone, but I don't have to accept your money. When we were doing a farmers market in Atwater Village, there was a woman that she went and wrote something on Yelp about us and thought we weren't going to figure out. Now, mind you, this woman's in our line every Sunday. She want a pound of fatty brisket and she want a half pound of lean brisket for her dad. We know
Yeah.
you, but then she gonna write us. She gonna write about us poorly on Yelp. I said, "Oh no, we can't serve you, sweetheart." And then I quoted what she wrote, and she just, if she'd have turned beet red. She's like, "Well, I didn't mean it." No, you did mean something by it because you actually made it public.
Mm.
But since we are that bad to you, don't worry about it. You don't have to eat her anymore.
Yeah.
And it's being able to say that thing. And I'm not, you did this. I didn't. I'm not going to sit here and let you disrespect me and think just because you got some money, I'm going to feed you anyway. My mama said, don't be letting strange folks put their feet under your table. That's an old school lesson. No. Mm-mm.
I love that. And so, speaking of old school, where do you see personal branding going in the next few years? What do
Oh.
you believe in AI to support that? Talk to us a little bit where you see personal branding.
Mhm.
going?
I don't believe AI can do justice to personal branding if it's true to you,
Hmm.
because you AI can't tell you how to stand in your truth. It could probably tell you how to do a marketing strategy, but you got to figure that marketing strategy has been pulled from millions of different places and just put together based on what you said. It's just putting some words together. It has
Hmm.
no sense to understanding, like, okay, well, how is she going to do this? How is she going to be able to get up on the mic when she just told you she's afraid to talk in public? You
Hmm.
can have it create all the things for you, but sweetie, does it really know you? If you're gonna
Hmm.
put in there, I'm a quiet person who likes to knit, and I'm gonna do this thing, and I want to make $10,000 a month. And what's my marketing strategy? You can't do none of that shit,
Hmm.
no matter what it comes up with. You can get some. I think it's a great tool. Don't get me wrong. I love AI for a tool for some ideas. But for
Yeah.
your personal brand, sweetie, you got to sit down and have a personal conversation. And whether you
Love
do it with yourself or with someone else, it is you're not going to be able to pull out of AI what you really need to stand up for, and that's a
that.
big
Hmm.
thing. Get it to write your regulations and policies, and like I say, smidge of your marketing strategy, but it cannot do the job for a personal brand because it doesn't understand personality. It doesn't understand, oh my God, I got a 5 year old at home. When I wrote that shit, I forgot she was gonna wake me up. It did not, it doesn't take all of your life into consideration. And neither do you most of the times when you're trying to figure this stuff out.
Hmm.
You have to have a life. And people don't get to infringe on it because of no like and trust. Miss me with that bullshit too. Now, I'm getting kind of salty. So I'm
I love that. Oh my god! And I love your laugh. By the way, I can hear you all day long. So, talk to us a little bit. What do you do to stay, on top of your game all the time? Give us a little bit of routine. What makes you you? What is your North Star? How do you stay as committed and motivated you are on a daily basis?
I read a lot. I associate with people that I respect, and it's not even that I agree with them. Like Chris Doe, brother from another mother, but we have different views on personal branding.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Horahan, he was
Mm-hmm.
the first person I learned brand strategy from. Oh, I don't even follow his program anymore, and I promise you, if he drops something tomorrow, I'm gonna buy it. That's how much I respect his game.
Yeah.
I don't buy into the whole Seth Godin, who's the guy with why I don't even remember his name anymore. I don't buy into all of that
Mm-hmm.
because you guys are looking at this from a corporate persona perspective. You stop paying attention to people. You've reduced them to numbers and datas, and let's match this up, and this is our ideal client. The only ideal client you have is the one that's going to pay you without bitching about your prices.
Yeah.
Everything else you have an audience for, and out of that audience your ideal person will arise. But
I
to sit here and say that traditional branding is still the way to go, I don't agree anymore. I learned it and it flipped me out. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm
mm-hmm.
not.
So good. So good. I love that. People do vote with their feet. So if people stop showing up, you need to do something different. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let us peek a little bit behind the curtain. What is the brand mother working on from a business side for the next 6 months? And then also let us look a little bit behind the curtain. What are you working on? And what are some of the goals for you personally for the next 6 months?
Oh Lord, I'm finishing out the year. What I recently did is because I wanted to be more accessible to people, I changed one of my programs because like you, I have 3 tiers. In my middle tier, I changed it to a pay what you can,
Mm-hmm. Love.
because I know some people need to get out here and they need to do their thing. And
Yeah.
most people cannot afford my prices that want to work with me. Now, you can't come in here talking about, oh, I got $20. No, we ain't that. No, don't do that, sister. But I wanted to, for the rest of the year, I wanted to make myself accessible. So I created this for the bold brand babies. You know what? Pay what you can. You have these three
Mm-hmm.
different price points, or if you're really honorable and you have the money, pay the full price.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna trust that this is what you can afford to pay right now.
Love that. Love that.
I'm doing what I'm calling behind the scenes. My husband, Big Mister, I'm actually helping him with his rebrand right now. So
Mm-hmm.
going from a cook to a content creator and actually turning it into a brand that, again, we're going to turn it back into something where we're going to license, we're going to create products, and we're going to create his business. But we're starting with his personal brand. And so giving people a behind the scenes look at that. So they come behind the scenes with us every 2 weeks where they sit in and watch me have a conversation with him. I write up the insights, I do the videos, and this is what his thing is. This is what his personal brand is starting to look like.
Yeah.
And even some of my one-on-one clients are sitting in on this, and it's like, I see that. And so they're trying to do the stuff ahead of time before I even get to that part with them. But it's helping them to see, you know what, personal branding is more than just showing up.
Mm.
So that, and then I'm trying to finish my book. Oh my goodness, I'm trying to finish this book by the end of next month. But no, it's already August. Damn it, I'm trying to finish the book by this month. But this is I want this book to be my bestseller, and I'm not saying be on a bestseller list. I want this to be my bestseller, one of
Mm.
my best-selling books.
Your legacy kind
And because it's about positioning a personal brand.
of. Mm.
And it's not about, because I know a lot of people, and even I used to talk about this, positioning yourself as a thought leader, but a lot of people can't do that because you're not the creative person. You follow trends, not that you're on the back end, but you can position as an authority, as an expert, and as a leader. So how do we do that? Now, if you happen to be innovative enough to create some shit that you're gonna make other people follow you that way, now you're a thought leader. But
Mm.
you don't get to claim that role just because.
Yeah.
So helping people to understand what it means to position a personal brand, not making it about you. You can be selfish, but it comes a point where it has to be selfless because you do have to be that leader, you have to be that authority, and you have to be that expert. You have to be visible, vigilant, and vocal. You have to be all of those things in order for people to understand what you're doing, what you're bringing to the table, and how impactful it is for them. And I got to finish that by the end of this month. Thank you for reminding me.
Awesome. That's a great goal. And I listen, I can talk to you forever. I want to be respectful of your time. Help us understand, or help our listeners to find out, where can they consume your content? Where can they learn more about you? Where can they find you?
Y'all can always go to Grandma's house. Grandmashouse.com. That's where I live. I have YouTube. I have, just go GC Brandmother. You'll find me somewhere. Most of my time, but I talk a lot of shit on LinkedIn. They don't like it, so they don't push it out. But I talk a lot of
Yeah.
shit on LinkedIn.
I don't expect anything else. And to our listeners, if you found some values in the things she said today, please like this episode, share it, save it, send it to somebody who needs to hear some honest words of wisdom around marketing. That might be the person she talked about. But make sure you click this episode, save it. Go on the comments, let us know what you liked, what you really resonated with. We look at all the comments and respond to all of the comments. Also, if you haven't done so and you want to get a little bit more content and get a behind the scenes look of what's going on, or hear more about upcoming episodes, make sure you join our private community, which is the Disruptive Chef Club. So before we wrap up today, Brandmother, we have what we call rapid fire question, food edition. But
Okay.
it's peachy edition. Um, so the way it works is we have 30 questions here. You give me a number, I read the question, and we want you to answer as quickly as you can. You ready?
All right.
Okay. Question number 1. Give me a number between 1 and 30.
21.
21. What is your philosophy around food waste in the kitchen?
Oh my God, I hate it. I wish we could use every piece that we create. My cousin composts and all that stuff. I'm not that serious, but I think food waste is a major thing that we need to take care of. Stop buying stuff that you don't use, and stop grocery shopping for the whole of country, and it's only one person. So stop wasting so much food.
Love that. So good. Question number 2. Give me a number between 1 and 30.
Okay, let's go. Let's go 29. I was born on the 29th.
29. What is your favorite food to experiment with, and why?
I don't cook on purpose. Eggs. If it's gonna be anything though, I would put an egg on anything. I'll put it on ramen, I'll put it on a steak, I'll put it on some bread. It's gonna be an egg.
You sound like me. Put it between 2 pieces of bread. If you have some leftover of pasta Alfredo, make a sandwich out of it. It's delicious.
Oh,
okay.
Shut up. Okay.
Okay, next question. Between 1 and
7.
7. If you would create a dish that represents your future, what would it taste like?
Oh Lord, it would be savory, smoky, with a hint of you would only catch the spice on the back end.
Okay,
Yes.
really in the back end. I know.
Yeah, it's really on the back end. It's like, did she just slap me? No, Yeah.
Next number.
Number 5.
5. Oh, if you would reinvent the food of any fast food concept, what would it be and why?
Oh my God. Um, Fast food concept. Chicken. I
Yep.
love fried chicken. I feel, and mind you, as a black person, I feel like such a cliche when I say that.
Listen, I love chicken too. Nothing wrong with chicken.
But I think chicken is perfect all by itself. All you need is chicken and a piece of bread or some meat and sweet. Give me a piece of chicken and a sweet potato pie, and I'm good. But I think just
I love that.
but I think there's so much more that could be done with chicken. Not chicken and waffles. I know Roscoe's and all that kind of stuff, but I think there's just more that can be done with chicken. I love me some chicken.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Give me a number between 1
Okay.
and 30.
11.
11. I'm afraid to ask that one. Okay.
Okay.
If you could be one kitchen gadget, what would it be and why? I apologize for the answer what's going to come, but I'm more curious.
You know what? I would be one of those old school hand blenders because it still get the job done, even though it's like
Oh, that's so wrong.
it's kind of antique-ish. But yes, that's the tool I would be.
And that completes rapid fire question food edition. Oh my God, that's the best. Okay, before we wrap up, to our audience, Mrs. Brandmother, give one last piece of advice to our listeners.
The thing that I was writing about today is finding your language. And what that means is that there's a language out there that's specifically yours, that you connect with your audience. It's like I call my clients my brand babies, and they call themselves my brand babies. That's a language that we've developed together. When I talk about being in grandma's house, whatever it's tied to, develop you a language, because when you start to hear people repeat your language, then you know you got them by the short and curlies. I promise you.
I love that. That's
Yes,
really good.
yes.
Really good. We love that. And I need to make a note of that. I love that. Fine. Awesome. So first off, thanks a lot for the gift of your time. Thanks for coming on and sharing your insights and your strategies around branding and being as straightforward as you are. We love you.
Thank you,
Thanks for
sweetheart.
being here today. And to our audience, if you haven't done so, make sure you like today's episode. Make sure you save it. Make sure you send it to a friend who needs to hear and a little bit of, dose of truth. Also, if you want to know more what's going on behind the scenes and get some updates on the new episodes, and want to get a front row seat of all the things we do, join our disruptivechef.club. We would love to have you. With that, until next time, remember to disrupt your kitchen, fire up your career, stay hungry for change. I'm here with the brand mother herself. We are out of here. So we are signing off. Be the change, be the challenge, and be the chef who sets the world on fire. So thanks for being here today. We really appreciate you. And to our audience, until next time.